Can I please have Selso Alcala to the stage? He is Robert's husband and will be sharing their story.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you to everyone that's involved in this. Ever since getting here, I've been overwhelmed, and it's been truly emotional. I met Robert almost 25 years ago. We met, and we never left each other's side. We would have celebrated 25 years together this month on the 21st. We were married in 2014, and DC has a place in our heart because in 2014 it was not legal to get married in Texas. So DC was one of his favorite places to visit, so we got married outside the grounds of the Jefferson Memorial. So I see it and I think so much of it, and now I can visit it and, almost kind of visit our memories there. One of the biggest things about Robert was that he was a dedicated officer, did everything by the books, and he'd always wanted to be a police officer since he was about 14. His uncle was a police officer, and he knew that that's what he wanted to do. He knew that enlisting in the Army was probably one good way of putting that on a resume, and so he did so. He served in the Army for about 7 months, came back home at that time, and applied for the jailer's position at the Dallas County. There he went on to become a sheriff at the Dallas County, and then later applied to Fort Worth Police Department, where he did eventually retire. But while there, he wanted to be in everything. So from pictures, he was in the motor unit. He trained himself to be on Air One, to get experience there. And then he pioneered what he could to get the CVE unit started in Fort Worth. So the groundwork, the foundation of that unit was his dedication to making sure that the roadways, the highways of that city had someone to police it. And that brought him so much joy. It went from 2 people doing it to now I think they have like 6 officers that split the whole city. And that is also something that he enjoyed, was training people. So there was other departments within the Dallas-Fort Worth area that were also looking to do new units, and one of those obviously was the highways that are being built around that Dallas-Fort Worth area, that he brought in other officers so he could share his knowledge. And that was probably one of the biggest things that he had a passion for, was teaching. He was also the TIU instructor, so they looked to him to do the best sobriety field tests. And so, funny thing is that he goes, "Oh, bring your friends," so we could do the field sobriety tests. We just need a lot of people. And I would tell my friends, and make sure that you tell them, we've got the good liquor. We've got to use liquor. We can't use beer on these guys because we can't get them there fast enough. So I would tell my friends, and that was another way of, introducing Robert to my friends, but in a quirky way, because no one talks to each other at the very beginning. After 4 drinks, everyone's best friends. So that was just something that I shared with him, and that, that was a good memory that I would have for, the 2 of us. And so that made it special as well. He was by the book. He did things by the book, so he endured some intolerance, some bullying, and yes, it was always by a sergeant. that thought that he could make those jokes with a gay police officer, and he didn't need to make jokes with anyone else, and to emasculate him because he was gay and just happened to be a guy. But he did it by the book. He reported it, and that sergeant was removed and got training. But you never know if that training goes to their minds and to their hearts. But they loved him because he was hardworking and he did everything by the book, and you could always count on Mills to be there and at their side. Like I said, we would have celebrated 25 years. But what we did know was that we both wanted kids. And so we knew that. So we started making those decisions, and we came to the decision that in the CPS, which is, family services, that there are plenty of kids that deserve a home, and that's why I adopted that little one over there. And Robert was a dedicated family man, and so much that I was a stay-at-home dad actually for 5 years, so that we could promise Noah that we would give him everything that maybe he wouldn't have going through the system or not being adopted. So we made sure that he had everything that he could ever want. I just want to briefly wrap up by just saying that he loved with a passion, and he was dedicated, and if his body had allowed him to do it longer, he would have done more. And he stayed dedicated to the very end. Thank you.
Also joining us is their son Noah and Selso's mother Linda.